Welcome, ladies and gents. This is Pavel here, and today we're going to look exactly at how to increase your contact rate when you are contacting your leads. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it doesn't matter what the lead source is. This is really a universal formula that you can apply to increase your lead contact rate, which of course will increase all of the next steps into converting a lead into a sale. Now, right before we get into that, if you don't know me yet, my name is Pavel Boissonneau, one of the co-founders here at Fondako Media, where we build client acquisition systems for financial advisors and insurance agents. Now, like I said, you don't have to be a financial advisor for this to work for you, but it's great to know about it anyway. So let's get straight into this study here that Harvard did. I just want to share the data first with you so that you can know sort of what this is based on. So they had two specific missions when building this study, and number one was to maximize results, and number two was to minimize the efforts. So in total, they used 3 years of data across many companies that were responding to web generated leads. Again, we don't have the specific source of these leads here, but I'm assuming Google, Facebook leads, which are the most common, and TikTok was not around when that study was made. Okay, so they used 15,000 unique leads and 100,000 calling attempts. Now let's look exactly what they found out doing that study. So first, they looked at what are the best days to make the contact. Now, if we look at the contacts that were made from the first dials, it was actually Wednesday and Thursday that the people were responding the most. And there was quite a big difference between, for example, Tuesday and Thursday. So people were replying 49% more on a Thursday than on a Tuesday, for example. So what they found out is that the best days to qualify the leads are Wednesdays and Thursdays. And now I'm not commenting on any of this. I'm just sharing their data, what they found out. And at the end of this video, we're actually going to look at how to beat these stats that they found out, essentially. So let's keep going. The second thing they found is what are the best times to actually make these dials to have a first contact. Now, this is pretty obvious. It was morning, and so before work and after work, essentially from 7:30 to 8:30, and then from 4 to 5:30 p.m. basically. And if we look at that, there was a 164% difference in contact rates made between 1 or 2 p.m. or 4 to 5 p.m. So that means you're 164% more efficient if you work between 4 and 5 p.m. versus 1 and 2 p.m. according to these stats right here. Let's keep going. What's the best response time? So do you call the leads as soon as they come in? Do you maybe wait a day or two, wait an hour or two? Essentially what they found out here is that there was a drastic difference between calling the person within the first 5 minutes or after 15 or 10 minutes. It was actually a 400% decrease in odds of qualifying leads if you contact them after 10 minutes instead of in the first 5 minutes. Now, this is pretty sad here, but it is what it is. There was a 10x decrease here after the 5 minutes in terms of the contacts that were made. Now, this is pretty dramatic. I don't necessarily agree with this. Again, we're going to look after at how to beat these stats, but this is just what they found out with pretty good data, actually. So let's keep going. The fourth thing they figured out, they were looking at what's the persistence. So is it, important to be persistent in order to contact your leads? So if we look at that here, 30% of the leads were never contacted at all. Now we're considering here that they made 100,000 calls for only 15,000 leads, and still they only contacted 70%. But what they found out is if you make at least 6 call attempts, you can reach up to 90% of your leads, but most reps will actually give up on the leads too soon after probably the 3rd call. So by making a few more call attempts, sales reps can experience up to 70% increase in contact rates. So if this is you and you abandon your leads quickly, this is a wake-up call, and I 100% agree with this. You have to be more persistent with your leads. Okay, so let's actually compare and look at some important stats here that we have on our side at Fondako Media. So For those of you who don't know, we have a call center that actually makes, books hundreds of insurance appointments every single month. And these stats are based out of thousands of calls that were made by our team, and also hundreds of our insurance agents that are clients with us over the last few months that just basically confirmed these stats. So on average, a caller or an agent or a salesperson will make 15 calls, and the response rate for these calls is going to be 24%. Okay, so these are the stats that we have. This is a dramatic difference versus what Harvard had in their study, but we're going to look at why in a bit. So on average, the caller will make 3.7 contacts per hour. So you can calculate how many working hours you will probably need if you have, let's say, 100 leads. Now let's look at this here. If we make a small comparative here, if we look at the average response rate per call, it was about 10.5% for the companies that Harvard studied, and we have a 24% rate. So that's more than double, which means the average number of calls made per contact, so how many calls you have to do before you contact someone, is about 10 for most businesses, most insurance agents, most callers calling their leads, versus we managed to average a 4.2 calls per contact, which is again less than half. And we also have noticed that the best moment to contact the leads are not only between 4 to 5, but actually from 4 to 8 p.m. So why do we have different stats than these businesses that were studied? It's because of this here. So this is the advanced contact formula. And if we look at that, basically the main goal here is to contact as many leads as possible, as quickly as possible. And if you do go through the whole contact formula, I can almost guarantee you that you will have a very high contact rate for your leads. So what happens when a new lead comes in? Now we do use AI and other things to increase the contact rate, but this is what you have to do on a manual basis, essentially. So day one, you're going to call the lead if you can as quickly as possible in less than 3 minutes, if possible. About 50-60% of the time, this is not going to be possible. It's okay. We recommend you call them at night. Okay, so between 4 to 6 p.m. And if they don't answer the next day, try to call them the same time that they actually became a lead, and therefore at that time they are most likely available. So that's another good tip here. And then if it doesn't work, call them at night again. So we're going to get into the specifics of the advanced contact formula in the next video, because I don't want to make this too long. But basically we're going to look at what's the actual SMS voicemail messages that we're sending, how to maximize contact rate with 2 phone numbers to make sure that you never have, or almost never have, to go through day 10 without contacting your leads. So we're going to look at that in the next few videos. I have a bunch of other slides for you guys, but I hope at least you have a good idea just with this contact formula on how to maximize your contact rate. All right, so we'll see you in the next video where we're going to look at exactly how to apply the advanced contact formula for you and your business.